Hey there friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for stopping by today. I'm here for Shimmerz Paints and I'm going to be sharing the new August color kits with you. The first color kit is the August edition and you're going to get 4 fun summer colors, some sequins from Spiegelmom's Scraps, and a really adorable ice cream cone cut file, and that kit is $15.95. Here's the Missy kit. I'm going to go over everything that's included in this kit and it is $18.95. And I'm going to list all the colors down below in the description box so you can see for sure what everything is. Alright, so the Missy kit is going to contain a full 2-ounce bottle of Spritz Plum Pudding. It's a purple color. You're also going to get Inklingz Beets Me, which is a beautiful soft pink color with a little bit of a purple flair to it. This is a brand new, never used before, never seen before color called Shimmerz Rita on the Rocks. And then you're going to get Creameez Pining for you. So we have 2 pink purple colors and then 2 different shades of green. And they match perfectly with these dots. You get a cute little palm tree, hello summer, and then a gorgeous hibiscus flower. And then Paige Evans designed this cut file, which is gorgeous. It's some hibiscus flowers and some really fun tropical leaves. And so all of these little goodies are going to coordinate together. And I'm going to make this layout. This is a longer than normal video for me, but there's a lot going on here. So I wanted to include everything in this layout. And I like to start from scratch as much as I can when I'm showcasing these kits, because I want to show you just what you can do with basically just some cardstock and these colors. So I'm starting with just some plain textured cardstock, nothing fancy here, and some white gesso to prep the paper. So instead of backing this cut file with patterned paper, I want to make my own paper here and back it with that. So when I looked at this cut file, it's very intricate, and I thought, okay, how can I do this the easiest way? And I thought, well, what if I traced the cut file onto the cardstock, or not the entire cut file together, but each piece sort of separate. And that way, when I go to paint it, I'll basically have all the leaves, and then I'll have all the flowers, and then I can fussy cut those out and use those shapes to back the cut file. I hope that makes sense. So I'm just lightly tracing the hibiscus flowers, the leaves, onto this gessoed cardstock. And the gesso is just going to prime the paper to create sort of a barrier between all the liquid I'm going to add and the paper. It's going to allow me to blend and let the colors kind of run together without soaking right through onto the paper and tearing it and ruining it. Okay, so I'm going to start with the 2 green colors. The darker one is Pining for You, and it's perfect for leaves. I really, really love it. I think it looks perfect with the vibe that I'm going for here. So all I'm doing is taking a small brush and a little bit of the color and using some water to just basically paint in this shape that I just traced. And as always, you can get tons of different shades using just one color of shimmers here, depending on how much water you add to it. Now, this new color here, Rita on the Rocks, it looks exactly the color of a margarita. It is perfect for leaves as well. And I love using different shades of the same color because you're going to get some really realistic looks here. So I'm making this leaf, two-toned basically, using some of the dark pine color and some of this Rita on the Rocks color. And the gesso and the water is allowing these colors to kind of blend and smudge and just give it more of a blended look instead of harsh brush strokes, because when you just add paint to paper, it's gonna dry pretty quickly or soak right through. And so this is allowing me to do this. So you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. I'm just going to go through and kind of messily paint the leaves, and then I'm going to come in and do the same thing with the flowers. And this does not have to be perfect because we're going to cut all this out and stick the shapes behind that cut file. All right, this is the Plum Pudding Spray. Now the Spritz is really pretty here. It's got soft shimmery powders mixed in with it. That's the difference in between some of the other sprays. The Spritz, you're not going to get a gold shimmer, you're going to get the purple shimmer, and it's a little bit of a softer color. And then the Beets Me Inklingz here, super shimmery when it's dry. Okay, so when I use these colors, I thought I want the the hibiscus flowers to kind of be darker in the center and then lighter as they go out. So I did pull a couple of pinks that are not in the kit. These are from my stash. This is a spray called Pink Stiletto, and it's more of a deeper pink. And so I'm just going to blend a little bit of that color with the Beets Me. And a lot of this I'm going to wind up adding in after I cut it out so I can see exactly what it looks like behind the cut file. So I thought I would add in a little bit of fun here and just do a couple drips of white acrylic paint just to kind of lighten up some of the areas. And plus, I don't know, I just love doing this lately where I've got a lot of liquid color there. I like to drip in a little bit of paint, and it just sort of creates this fun, runny, marbled look. And it does add lots of light spaces or light areas. And I just think that looks so cool. And I love how that paint just sort of spreads. I forgot to trace this big leaf here, so I'm going to just kind of lightly trace it so I kind of know the outline and the size of it. And I'm going to come back in with the greens and basically just do the same thing here. And this is a fun thing to do if you want to back a cut file and make it look more mixed media and you don't want to use pattern paper. Just create your own, just like this. And it does take time, but if you love mixed media, then this is a really fun thing to do. I really enjoyed this process, and it did take some time because you have to wait for things to dry, but you know, it's okay. All right, so I want to, those two little flowers, not the hibiscus flowers, there's two smaller flowers on the cut file, and then on the enamel dot, or not the enamel dot, the epoxy dots there's a little bit of an orangey flare in the middle of the hibiscus, so I wanted to kind of add a tint of that orangey color. So again, I pulled another color from my stash, and that one is called Mustard Seed. Really pretty yellow color. And if you want to add in different shades of colors in addition to the 4 kits or colors in the kits, and you don't have a darker pink, you know, if you have gelatos or art crayons, something like that, you could add those in on top of the shimmers. It's always fun to mix and match different mediums because you never know what colors or effects you can get until you just experiment and play around with it. So now you can kind of see the difference in the pinks there and the difference in the greens. All right, so now everything's dry. So here's where I'm going to start to cut out the shapes. And you can see that this leaf is very intricate. It's going to be very hard to get scissors in between all of those little areas. So I thought about tracing it on the back and then cutting it out, and I thought, no, that was not working. So I'm just going to add some glue to the back of it and then simply glue it down to this shape here that I've painted, and then I'm just going to very carefully cut it out. And yeah, get yourself some good fussy cutting scissors, and yep, I'm just going to go through and cut around the edges. Now I did cut this cut file on the smaller side. If you wanted the fussy cutting process to be a little bit easier, make the cut file bigger. You could make this take up, you know, a huge chunk of your background if you wanted to, or you don't have to back it at all. You could just paint the outline of it. You could paint the cut file itself and use it that way. Lots of different ideas. You could use it as a stencil, all kinds of different ideas. You could actually cut the cut file itself out of pattern paper. All right, so I didn't want to force you to watch me do all that cutting and backing, but that's what it looks like. I love, love, love it. So what I was pointing to there was the leaves on the left. You see how they kind of blend together? There's no variation in between the big palm leaf and then the other leaf. So this part was kind of tricky, but you know what? I was very careful and tried to make it work. So I'm going to try to add in some more shading. So I want those two leaves to be distinctly different. So I'm coming back in with the Pining for You, the darker green, and just very carefully adding some shading in here and there in a couple spots. I'm going to use my finger to kind of help smudge it. And I do get some paint on the white part of the cut file, but not enough to really, you know, I didn't ruin it or anything. And I'm okay with things being kind of messy and not perfect because, you know, mixed media is definitely not perfect. It's a messy thing, and sometimes you get paint on places that you didn't really want to, and who cares? It doesn't bother me. So here's where I'm trying to add in some more purple and pinks to the centers of those hibiscus like I was talking about. I just want it to look more, you know, realistic. And so in the middle is where it's going to be a little bit darker. And so I'm just dabbing in a little bit more of the plum pudding and then more of that deeper pink color from my stash, the pink stiletto. Just dabbing a little bit on the brush and then using my finger to kind of smudge it. And I did let it dry. When it dried, it was a little bit light. So I added a couple of coats like this until I got it exactly like I wanted it. So there you can see the difference, and I love how that looks. So I thought I would just go kind of purple crazy here and use a purple sheet of cardstock as my background, and then this fun color photo of me and my daughter. And I picked that one because it's close up. There are green palm trees behind us, and she's got on a pink and purple swimsuit that you can kind of see. And I thought, okay, this matches perfectly. I have to use this picture. So I'm going to add some gesso again to this cardstock just to add a little bit of white space and again to prep the background, because I'm going to come back in with those colors and add a little bit to the background here. So I use my palette knife, I use my finger to kind of smudge it around, and I'm going to start with the Beets Me. I use that on one of the hibiscus flowers, and this is just another way that you can use it. I'm using it with the packaging technique. I think we all know the packaging technique by now. So many people use it. It's so much fun. It's a fun, easy, fast way to spread some color on your background. And you can kind of see how light the Beets Me is. And the more layers you add, the darker it's going to get. But I am adding water to it here, so I am diluting it a little bit. So, you know, the more water you add, the lighter it's going to get. But I just kind of wanted a pink wash, you know, not too distracting, not too crazy, on the background to kind of show around the photo and around the edges of the cut file, because you can kind of see how I'm going to situate the cut file with the photo kind of tucked in there. I'm going to put the cut file kind of at an angle, and I'm just going to keep working on this background. I don't want to cover up all the white. I do like the idea of some hazy white around the edges, kind of cloudy looking, but I'm going to keep working with the Beets Me there. And I like to work on the background a little bit and then bring the cut file and the picture back and see how it looks, take it off, keep working, because that kind of gives you an idea of, you know, do you need more mixed media or more color here or less color here, or how does it look so far? You know, and a lot of it does get covered up, but you never know where it's going to show through. So it's good to kind of test it out like right here. Just bring it back and see how it looks. I forgot how much I love purple. I think this background was perfect. This colored cardstock was perfect for this. Yep, I think that is looking really, really pretty. So I do add a little bit of the pink stiletto again, just to kind of mimic the darks of the pink flower that I've got there. And I'm going to just spray it on, add some water, use my brush, use my fingers to kind of smudge it around. I just want a little bit of that dark pink kind of peeking around the edge there. And again, the gesso is what allows the running and the bleeding of the color and the smudging process. If you just apply it directly to the background, look at that. Look how shimmery that is. The Beets Me is so shimmery. I love it. But if you don't add the gesso, it's going to soak right through your paper, and it's going to be harder to blend it. It's going to look more brush stroke-ish, if that makes sense. All right, so splatters are coming in now. I'm going to add some splatters of the plum pudding. I love those little dark areas up against the light pinks. Oh, so pretty. I love Shimmerz. Have I ever mentioned that? Yes. Shimmerz. Shimmers are always my go-to. I love them so much. You probably knew that because I use them all the time. Anyway, I love how this background looks. You can see the purple, you can see the pinks. Okay, and I love the green, how the green just sort of pops against all of that. So I'm going to tuck the photo kind of inside where those two flowers kind of open up a little bit. And I'm going to layer in some tissue paper behind the photo there and then start to work on everything else. I went through my stash of stuff. I am going to use 2 of the dots. I'm going to wind up using a little bit of embellishments from Heidi Swap, and then some from Alta Nu. I can't remember the name of that newest collection they have with all the watercolor effects and beautiful flowers, but it's, I believe, their most recent scrapbook collection. Now this is a die cut from a Hip Kit Club Hip Kit Club Kit from, I don't even know, it's just a random flower, and I'm going to cut it up because the pink matched. I'm going to tuck that Alta Nu chipboard piece. It's a pink leafy bundle. I'm going to use that. I'm going to figure out where I want to put the dots. And I have a little chipboard piece that says Sunkissed. I wind up not using that above the photo there. I fussy cut out that vellum piece that says Beautiful from Heidi Swap. And then here's where I decided to get a little crazy and add in a fourth color. No mixed media in this color, but just embellishments. In that Alta Nu collection, there is a set of clear watercolor looking leaves and flower stickers. And I thought, should I add in some light blue? Let's see what it looks like. And so I added in those two stickers. I'm going to wind up changing it though. But a way to get more of that blue color on here is to use some thread. Surprise, surprise. You know me and my thread addiction. So I'm going to add a little bit of blue thread over here to the right of the photo. And what I'm going to wind up doing is 3 points of the light blue. So I've got the thread over here to the right, and then I've got these two leaf sprigs that are the light blue. However, they don't stand out as much as I like because they're clear stickers. And when you add clear stickers that are colored to something that is already colored, it's going to change the color of the clear sticker because they're transparent. So I'm going to wind up sticking those to some white paper just like this, and I'm going to cut them out. And usually, why is my camera moving? Oh, that was like an optical illusion there. Usually I like to trim the white edges off of my die cuts, but since my main die cut here has a white around the edges, I felt like it matched to have everything else have a white border around it. So I created a white border here with these light blue leafy sprigs, and I feel like they just match better this way. They stand out a little bit more. And yeah, I'm going to wind up cutting one in half, so it's going to make me have 3 sprigs like that right there. And I love that little pop of the light blue. I just feel like it kind of lightens it up a little bit more and just adds in another fun color. So now I'm going to add in a little bit more thread. I'm going to add in some purple. I had to add in some darker purple thread. I don't get to use purple thread a lot, and I felt like it matched. And it just added a little bit of texture and a little pop of color right there. So I'm gonna get that just like I want it, glue that down. And I did pop the whole cut file up using some adhesive foam. I'm pretty sure I already did that. I was probably talking about something else when I actually did it. This is a little transparency piece here that says love. I'm gonna use that somewhere. And that's from Heidi Swap, and the pinks just matched perfectly. Going to add a little bit of green thread somewhere. Where do I add that? Oh yeah, up here behind the photo. Again, it's just, you can kind of barely see it. It's just going to add some texture and some interest behind the leaf there, just to add a little bit more green color. And then I'm going to use this beautiful piece because it matched and it was a small something that I could add. Now I went through my little bucket of stuff, random stuff on my desk, and I had a bunch of Me and My Big Ideas sticker books that I got from Michael's. I'm going to add in a couple of clear, well, they're not clear, but they're kind of like white clear stickers. They're little tiny hearts. And then I went through the Heidi Swap sticker book that is just amazing because it has a gazillion stickers in it, and picked out some little things to add. I'm going to use this sticker here that says yay, but I want to put it on some cardstock first and cut it out. So again, it has a white border, and I wanted to use the letters separately. So my title is going to be Yay Summer. I think these stickers here are from Evalicious years ago. Again, they're in my random stash bucket, and they're small and white and puffy, and they were perfect. I didn't want a big gigantic title, you know, to distract from that big cut file that's so beautiful. So I'm just going to do yay summer, you know, because I have a gazillion summer photos and I don't think I've ever used yay summer. Another sticker that's white, I think it says love this, and I'm going to use my white pen for journaling. And I have to wind up switching pens because this one's getting old and you can barely see it. There was hardly any ink coming out. So I finished that up off camera and then come back in with the Rita on the rocks and add some green splatters, and they dry so shimmery and so pretty. And then I'm going to use some sequins. These are from my stash. These are Spiegelmom scraps. I'm going to use all the colors that I have that match. And I'm almost done. Yes, there's the final layout. I love how this turned out. Oh my goodness. You guys, you've got to start with some white plain cardstock and color up your own leaves and flowers and just go to town making it yourself. This was so much fun. It did take me a while to do, but yeah, there's one of the dots there. Hello, summer. But it's so worth it because I love how you can just control the lights and the darks, the blending. This is my favorite kind of layout to make. I really, really had a good time doing this. Again, the Missy kit is $18.95, and I'm going to list everything down below. The other kit is $15.95. These both go live in the Shimmerz store at, I believe, 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time today, August 1st, so make sure you go check them out. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so, so much, and I will see you next time.